Believe it or not,
cycling is actually addictive, which means we'll ride no matter what the weather. And the key to keeping this on the fun side of miserable is the right gear, specifically winter cycling shoes. So today I want to use my background in cycling apparel design and my over 2 decades experience on the bike to help you decide if you actually need winter cycling shoes. And I've tried it all, from plastic bags over your feet, which just don't do this. It suffocates your feet and they end up drenched in sweat anyways, to having only one pair of shoes and using shoe covers through the winter. And this absolutely works, but it's kind of only a quick fix. It puts a lot of wear and tear on your regular riding shoes. Plus, shoe covers wear out quickly, especially if you're riding anything off-road. I found that I could barely squeak out a season out of one pair of shoe covers. Plus, they can be surprisingly difficult to put on. Come on! This eventually led me to winter cycling shoes, which have become the foundation for my winter cycling kit. Like the foundation of a house? That's a stupid metaphor. Just remember the old nursery rhyme. First keep the core dry and warm, for the appendages are not far after. I've found that winter cycling shoes have allowed me to have a longer riding season while being more comfortable and improving the overall ride experience in the winter. And one more thing to note, my last pair of winter cycling shoes, they've lasted over 5 seasons, and there's still plenty of life left in them, which means you don't have to get these very often. Maybe only a couple in your lifetime? Funny side tip, to keep your boots from getting stinky, just put a little baking soda in there. Works wonders. Now, I thought it would be helpful to go over what I consider the best winter cycling shoes on the market right now, which hopefully helps you understand what works and doesn't for each shoe, and ultimately what works and doesn't for you. Oh, my quads! And because this video is sponsored by Competitive Cyclist, I was able to test every single one of these shoes. But they don't have any special script or want me to say one way or the other. In fact, I don't think they even particularly care. They just want you to know that's where you go to get these goods. It's that simple. Oh, and at the end, I'll reveal which one of these shoes is my top pick and why. You gotta hang out for that. Yes, they clip in. They're cycling shoes. All of these are 2-bolt compatibility, which is little metal, not plastic triangle. Cycling shoes are predominantly measured in European sizing. So all of these are size 45, which some brands call a 10.5. Other brands call an 11. It's a conundrum that humankind has dealt with since the dawn of the bicycle. Zoom it in so they know I'm being serious. For your reference, my foot identifies as a regular to narrow US 11. And yes, I'll put links to all of these down below. Just, yes, don't worry. All right, first up, the Shimano MW7s. These retail for $300 US. This is a waterproof cycling shoe. I mean, waterproof, it's always within some range of reason, but this is within that range. They have an insulated Gore-Tex liner. It's cool. It's kind of like fleece on the inside. It's comfortable, it's not too warm, and it's waterproof. The outsole has Ultra Tread, good grip in the slick. One thing though, I kind of wish these lugs went all the way to the edge of the outsole, because it would just be a little more stable. Come on. This funny flap design is kind of cool. It keeps the shoe nice and smooth, so gunk doesn't build up on it. Plus, BOA closure, you can't go wrong. This claims to be reflective. This is silver. You're not fooling anybody. They do have a claimed stiffness of 7 out of 12. They don't flex a bunch. They're solid, they're strong, they're easy to walk in. I like the 7. Okay, for fit, I thought the length was fantastic. For some reason, they sent the wide ones. So for me, they're a little loose. If I wear a thicker sock, it resolves this issue. If you have a regular to wide foot, this guy. The cuff, huge fan, neoprene, really good with mobility and movement. And with rain pants, they came down just enough to cover the cuff, which is perfect. So no rain integration, mitigation, precipitation, intrusion, breach. And for temperature range, I would say it's somewhere just below freezing. I think you'd be good there. Overall, very good choice for anybody living with a West Coast winter. This is a smart shoe. All right, next shoe is the Giro Blaze. This shoe retails at $250. It even says it on the shoe. It's a waterproof, breathable shoe with Primaloft insulation with a temperature rating of -7 Celsius, 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Cool, all right. It's basically a shoe with a built-in rain jacket. It's really interesting. And the rain jacket has the Primaloft, and so does the inside of the shoe. It's great. It's very comfortable. And I'm a big fan of this weird closure mechanism. It's not BOA, but it doesn't need to be. It saves a lot of money, and it's super easy to do. Surprisingly quick. You just stick it in there and zip it up. And I did find that the zipper does migrate down occasionally. It's not every single time, but every once in a while, the zipper starts to go down. Not all the way, just a little bit. It claims a heat reflective insole. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. There's nothing in there that's reflective. It's just this thin ass piece of foam and lasting board. With dual injected ice grip soft rubber outsole. I back it. Whatever you're using, just keep using it. And the fit. The fit is basically my favorite part of these shoes. They fit my foot like a shoe. Maybe because shoes never fit, that's why the saying is glove. And this, I really like it. I found the collar height to be adequate for riding with rain pants. Water just sheathes right over this thing. And because it's just like a one piece, it does great with muck and grime. Just blast this sucker with the hose and it's gone. It's awesome. And the stiffness of the outsole, I would say it's a 7 out of 12 also. It's adequate, it's perfect. In fact, I didn't even notice how stiff or not stiff it was. I can't wait to know what shoe he picks. Next up, 45 North Ragnarok Tall. These retail at $245 US. And because 45 North is such a deep winter company, they call this a shoulder season shoe. I call it a West Coast winter shoe. What do you call it? BOA closure? Always a fan. This is good design. This little plastic bit to pull out to release the BOA is surprisingly helpful. The thing that I appreciate the most about this shoe is the massive neoprene cuff. I just love the sheer audacity of it. What this also means is the length of your rain pant doesn't really matter. If it's a little short, you're still gonna have the over cuff protection that we all need for these moisture-ridden places of the country. I thought I needed this much height. I found it's really not necessary. You can get away with a lot lower, but it does not hurt to have. Rubber outsole with anti-slip microglass filament lugs. These work great. They're talking about these tiny little blips in here. They're like extra grippy. This whole outsole is great. See how these lugs go all the way to the end of the shoe? Stable. I also love the extra bit of attitude that's coming off of these. Fit somewhere between a regular and a wide. They just lean a little bit wide. Also, big fan of these. It really helps. As much as I like the look of this shoe, unfortunately all these straps are spots for grime to build up over the ride, and it just makes the shoe a little bit harder to clean afterwards, because you gotta make sure if it's underneath there, you gotta, you know. The temperature rating for this shoe is 25 degrees Fahrenheit. And one thing I forgot to mention, this shoe claims to be waterproof, and I found it to be waterproof. I think these are a good choice for people that live in a colder region and have poor circulation, because these will keep you warm. This is a warm shoe. And I already know you're gonna ask. These are the rain pants I use. They're awesome. They're easy on, easy off. I'll put a link to them down below. They're just like a basic shell that you just pop on, and there's one simple pocket on it. It's great. Has he picked his shoe yet? 45 North Ragnarok boot. These retail at $215. They've got a real rubber outsole with a microglass filament lugs. Little squares on there. I love this outsole. There's so much to work with. It's flat, it's big, it's booty. It's got BOA closure. But for some reason, I have a hard time with this one. When I tighten it, there's always some loose part on the BOA. And when it's time to loosen it, it's like, actually, it's kind of hard to do. I think it needs this plastic thing. These have a temperature rating of 25 Fahrenheit, -4 Celsius. I don't want to go below that anyways. This piece is fascinating because it's a clip-in boot, which I think is a really interesting category. Of all the shoes, walking in this is the best, especially off-road, because it's a boot. These would also be great with flat pedals, and 45 North does an interesting thing where you can email them and get a cleat cover, that's cool. Although, why don't you just put it in the box with the shoe? There's a waterproof membrane, and my experience found this to do very well with wet weather. Stiffness, it's great. They're all fine. None of them are soggy. I give it a 7 out of 12. Why 12? Who's making up this? These would be great for someone that hops on and off the bike a lot, or for someone that switches between bikes with flat pedals and clips. It's like a rent-a-cop boot. It's got an EVA midsole. This thing is cool. Except for the dumb BOA, fix that. You know, now I'm like accustomed to that loop, so just every shoe manufacturer, just put that loop, okay? All around, solid West Coast weather shoe, and you'd definitely be fine with some snow with this. Hey, what's your pick? Okay, gotta pick one. Which one am I gonna pick? Having tested every single one of these shoes, taking into consideration fit, price, and functionality, my personal choice would have to be the Giro Blaze. It's easy to get in and out of. Cleanup is a breeze. They're warm. I just love the way these fit. I'm having a fit. And it's $50 less than the Shimano. I think this is a more premium shoe, but I found that it's not necessary. With that said, I would be fine running any of these shoes. It's just a matter of working out budget, riding style, and terrain. And once that's figured out, you could use offer code Dustin15 for 15% off your first order to competitivecyclist.com. Might as well save some ducats while you're flossing your new drip drops. So the next thing we gotta do is figure out your complete rain kit so you're not totally miserable out there. And that's what this video covers. All of it, head to toe. And you can see how much my style of editing and filming has changed since that video. That video is kind of embarrassing, actually. I don't know why we picked it.